G'day, hi and welcome. Alrighty, there's my dog looking all kind of bored. You going to make it, goof? Poor girl. Yeah. Alright, so I went on a mission today. It kind of failed, but was still successful anyway. Yeah, I should probably do these vlogs when I'm out on the road. Oh, look at all that dust blowing up around. Jeez, no wonder my bike's so dirty. But I'm going to do a secret cleaning on it. I'm not going to tell anybody. There's a... Ow, I'll show you guys in another video. Okay, I did this video yesterday, but I figured I'd do it again today before I put the bike away. Basically, crossing the line. There's two things. So I'm out on the road today, and I just kind of proved my own point today. That when you're riding along, I notice there's some guys, they tend to hug the line. The ones that I find are the worst, believe it or not, are not sport bikes, not even the Harley riders. It's those guys on those, if you want to call them a motorcycle, those T-Rexes, two wheels in the front, one in the back, the Can-Ams or whatever they are. Those guys, I guess because their riding position is that of a motorcycle, they're kind of upright, but they don't realize how wide their wheel is, and it always seems like they have one wheel on the line, or slightly over the line, so just be careful on that. But when you're riding along, yeah, never cross the line. I mean, we all saw, although it's old news, the Yami Noob footage of him crossing the line and going head on into the Porsche. How the guy wasn't killed, I have no idea. Definitely must have done something good in the previous life to have that many guardian angels watching out for you on that many crashes. But that said, there's a few things. For example, today there's a lot of trucks on the road. Those big trucks, they blow you around a bit. They can blow you away, but they could also kind of suck you in a bit too, so you don't want to be too close to the line for that reason. The other one is, and this is something if you're riding along, especially if it's kind of a busy, there's people behind you, whatever, and you notice that there's a passing lines coming up. Don't ride tight to the line because people tend to cut out and cut in really fast. That happened to me today. I kind of knew it was coming. So I always kind of ride more a little away from the passing lines. I think that's just a very safe tip. I know I covered it before, but I can't express enough how much safer you're going to feel. People are still going to cut you off. I don't know why people have to do this when they didn't. It's like they got all the room in the world to pass, but they have to come right up to your bumper then and try to come in as tight as possible. And I don't think they do it on purpose to be ignorant with you. I think it's just that people can't judge the size of their vehicle. Like they don't realize that their bumper, is cutting in. You're there. They're cutting in, maybe about here, which is about a car length away, which is pretty close when you think about it. So compensate for them. Don't be right out. Like if the double line is the broken line is here, don't be there because when they're coming out, they might clip you coming back in. Be more like, that far from the line, more like center lane for that part of unless the road's really bad and you have no choice. But if you have the choice, I tend to want to move over. The reason why you want to be more center lane and not right over to the far end is because people will pass you, but they won't even go out around the yellow line, so they'll just pass you in the same lane, and that's 10 times more dangerous. So just something to keep in mind. Ow! I just got clucked in the head with something. What the hell was that? This tree attacked me. I don't felt like a rock or something in my head. I don't know if you guys heard that touch. The echoing sound was the inside. But anyway, but yeah, so just something I thought was an important little subject. I won't go too into depth, but just something to be mindful of when you're riding. That when you don't ever cross the line. If you're going so fast that you have to go over the line, the reason why you're going the line, whether you're going fast or not, if you're going too fast, you might end up going wide and overshooting the apex and coming out wide and going over the line. That could be one reason. The other reason is if let's say you're not speeding, but and I notice there's some guys that I move around my lane quite a bit, but I never cross the line, just because you don't know especially with pickup trucks coming at you, whether they're coming at you or behind you. Pickup trucks tend to straddle the center line for some, like guys can't drive, right? So they either driving with two tires in the frickin' ditch, or they're driving down the center of the road when it comes to curves and stuff like that. So you want to compensate for the other bad driver. So just be mindful of where your lane position is in a curve. So I know you get more when you can go tight to the line and cut back in, but remember, you're not on a racetrack. You're on a public roadway. So you got to compensate for the other guy coming the other way, because he might be over the line. And if you factor that in, then you can make a better line anyway. But let's say you're not speeding, you're still going over the line. I'll tell you why you're probably going over the line. And it comes back to you go where you look. You're not reading the curve properly. And that's something you need to really, anybody can go through a curve, but to go through a curve nicely without doing this through the curve, that takes a little bit of practice, because not every curve is a perfect straight, or perfect curve. You know, like sometimes they kick back a bit and they can catch you off guard. But the principle's the same. When you're entering the curve, you're looking at the apex. When you're at the apex, you're looking at the exit. When you're at the exit, you're already looking down at the other curve. So kind of got to get used to keeping your head up, managing your speed before the curve, and then when you're in the curve, either maintain or accelerate if you want, if you're comfortable. I tend to like to slingshot through curves. But where people have the most problems, not these short little curves that's just like dip in, dip out. Those are fun. But what about the ones that you know, like the curves, like, you know, from here to my uncle's truck right down there. And there's some curves around here that it's like, no matter what speed you're on, you can just hang in that curve. You're in there for like 20 seconds. Those are the curves where you see everybody going all over the place because they don't know how to maintain a line, because they don't know where to look. But you might have, and that's where you come into the several apexes in a curve, where it's not one complete apex, but the principle is still the same. You're looking further ahead, and away you go. So what you're going for is smooth, not abrupt, moving all over the place. Because the less the bike is moving around the lane while you're leaned over, the safer you're going to be. That's just is what it is. Upright is safe, leaned over increases risk. Why? Because the more you lean over, the less effective your traction is. Even if you got brand new tires or really good tires like mine, which are still got lots of tread on them, the principle's the same. When you're upright like this, your tires got the most traction, and let's say you got 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, you know, so if you lose half your traction in a curve while you're moving like that, you hit a pot, you know, some curves you're bouncing around in the curve too, that could throw you for a whirl. That's why you want to be smooth. So when make sure you get your entry speed. Entry speed is everything. Slowing down in a curve, a lot of people have a hard time slowing down in a curve. But usually what gets them is they're oh, I'm going too fast, and they let off the throttle so fast that the bike starts to want to straighten up on them. So this is why smooth inputs are always, even if you're going a little bit fast, you can always just tap that back brake a little bit, not too much because you don't want to kick out the back end. But you could do that. You could ease off the gas, and then it'll straighten up a bit, and then just, you know, counter with your body weight. If you do it right, you'll go through a curve, you'll hold the same lean angle the whole way through the curve, you'll look beautiful, and you'll be safe. Yeah, those are my two kind of tips there. Particularly the passing lines, I've made it a habit for years, even though I'm just, you know, back on the road the past 2 seasons. This was ride number 18 today. Yeah, we're still in May. I'm doing good. I shouldn't say that too loud. I'll jinx myself. But the thing is that, yes, you got to account for road conditions, but going through a curve, work on your perfection of going through that curve, because that's really, really going to improve your riding. You're going to be safer, but you're not going to be as stressed and panicked when you're jerking around on the throttle. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and that works in many things in life. But it's just good advice. So anyway, that's just a topic I figured I'd cover because I thought it was an important one, and I'm going to leave it at that because this sun is getting really hot.